The fifth graders at Presbyterian Day School have been working on a sustainable project of reducing cafeteria waste and is being excessively dumped in our landfills. And we wanted to take on a project, project-based learning, to help solve this problem. So any PBL project can be completed in a day or two, a week, a month, or several months, depending on the project. It does require a lot of planning up front because you have to begin with an end in mind as you think about what it is that you want the students to accomplish. So you develop your rubrics, you come up with a guiding question to drive the project, and if it's problem solving a situation, you have to prepare for a thorough process. So our waste project took hours to plan, but it's not done in one sitting. It's broken into smaller amounts of time where you can think about the process and add things to it as you go along. And some materials from past projects can be reused or revised to fit new ones. And when you're collaborating with another teacher, it takes less time to plan. So there's no definite answer to time. That is something you do control. Right here, I'm showing my planning for my project at a glance. It's where I come up with a guiding question if I don't want my students to be involved in that. And then I have my objective here, and this is what I want to accomplish through the process, and what I want my students to accomplish. And then I come up with the products and deliverables. This contains the process through the project, and then I have the learning goals of what I want my students to meet, and then the content topics. And right here you notice that our project is global issues of waste, research, valid sites, recycling, and composting. And then I include the required materials, the project extensions and real-world connections that I want my students to make, outside world connections, and of course the assessment. Day one of the project should not reveal the guiding question of the project. But you want to create a conceptual framework so that students can make personal connections. So with the waste project, the students spent time thinking about how they are wasteful in their everyday lives, in different aspects of their lives, as they also reflect on how they can improve on those behaviors. And then we broaden the scope and we look at the global issues of waste. I use videos from Discovery, United Streaming, and YouTube to allow them to gain a new perspective. And they formulate open-ended questions that they have about what they've learned, and then they are then given the guided question about waste at our school to help reduce the problems it poses to our world. So here I have just where they can, the forms that I give them just allow them to reflect and collect their information or their understanding as they go through the process, and that have them to come up with facts and open-ended questions to help them for exploring the topic. It's quite easy to incorporate my English standards into any project because I can introduce or review English skills in small mini lessons that can then be applied in the students' reflections or the organized writing that's part of the project. I can teach grammar through writing, and I can have the students to incorporate their grammar skills and edit their work by ensuring that there are few mechanical errors. I assess the PBL process by using checklists, or provide feedback on the reflections. I also use rubrics for thinking and learning, like for their inquiry skills that they develop through the process. Like, do they display a curious and questioning disposition that leads to inquiry? Also assess their knowledge building in the beginning, through the process. Problem solving, team skills, and then their presentation. I also use a rubric for their technology presentation that requires them to incorporate specific criteria that represents their understanding of the project, the end product. So here is their technology rubric or checklist for our waste project. And if you see here, these are all of the things when they're presenting to an audience, these are all the things that I require them to include in their presentation. So beginning with the title slide and then followed by the guiding question, and them stating a clear purpose, because there's always a purpose, and include the problem statement. Have them incorporate important facts, statistics, or helpful information about global awareness, and then have them to add their action plan, the steps that they came up with to solve the problem. And any kind of thinking routines that we do through the process, I have them to share those. And of course, the presentation is always supposed to be free of errors in sentence structure, grammar, capitalization, punctuation, and spelling. So that's also a big piece. And put a time limit on the actual presentation. But that's pretty much my experience with PBL, especially with the waste project this year.